New Comic Book Day is right around the corner, and it is time to talk about the books on the pull list. Sheesh, rusty intro. What's up? Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is the pull list. It's my weekly video series where I take a look at all the books coming out for the upcoming week. This time we're looking at Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. And I'm going to talk about the books that are on my pull list, what is at the top of the pile, things I'm most excited about, books that are on the radar, new number ones. We'll even talk about some new trade paperbacks coming out for this week of new comics. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into the top of the pile. These are the books that I'm most excited for in a given week. These are the ones waiting for me at my LCS, Fight or Flight Comics in Raleigh, North Carolina. And when I get there, you know, sometimes I have extra time, sometimes I don't. But these are the books that I'm so excited about, I'd probably read them right there at the shop. So I'm going to start off with Miles Morales, Spider-Man, issue number 32. Now, we just finished with the Miles Morales Deadpool crossover, Pools of Blood, and full transparency. I have not read that arc at all because I didn't have the Deadpool issues, and I went to the shop and it was sold out of one of them. So I'm like 4 issues behind on Miles Morales Spider-Man. I just plan to jump into this issue and hope that it's going to catch me up to everything I need to know ever since, you know, the Panther God saga. But I'm excited just because Cody Ziegler's Miles Morales has been one of my favorite books. And when it's not crossing over or tying into other things, it really, really, really shines. And so it's at the top of the pile, even though I guess it could have made the fledgling 4. Cover price on this one is $3.99. Next up, another book that could have made the fledgling 4, but I'm also just really excited about is Absolute Superman, issue number 6. Absolute Superman, written by Jason Aaron. Art is usually by Rafa Sandoval. He's not doing art in this issue. Very similar to issue 5 of Absolute Batman. This is given like a sort of secret origin of this Superman. And we're going to learn more about his Smallville roots, or like his time spent in Smallville. And so I'm very curious to see what that's like. And there is a guest artist whose name I didn't write down, but we're on a time crunch. I got to get this video done. So no time for, a side quest. $4.99 is the cover price on that. Next up, speaking of absolute things, this is Absolute Green Lantern, issue number 1. This is one of 2 series debuts that have made it to the top of the pile this week. But Absolute Green Lantern, written by Al Ewing, I believe artist by Janoy Lindsay, who I've only seen on covers, if I remember correctly. But this one is going to follow an Absolute Universe version of Sojourner Mullen. And honestly, I like Joe Mullen. And so to see an Absolute take on her is going to be interesting. Hal Jordan's going to make an appearance. Other Green Lanterns will make an appearance. But, you know, this whole Absolute Universe has really just kind of been flipping the DC Universe on its head. And things you think you might know about your favorite characters, you probably don't know about their Absolute Universe counterparts. Don't even get me started on the last week's Absolute Martian Manhunter. That was crazy. But Absolute Green Lantern issue number 1 is out this week. There was a tweet that went around and it was like, Al Ewing is the only white guy I trust to write black women. And it's like, that tracks. I don't know. He does such a great job. Anyway, Absolute Green Lantern issue number 1 is out this week. Cover price is $4.99. And I teased, there was another series debut here at the top of the pile, and it is Ironheart, Bad Chemistry, issue number 1. Another series debut that I didn't write down the artist for. I probably should have. But, you know, Ironheart's been getting or had a bunch of hype because she made an appearance in Wakanda Forever. I really liked her appearance in Wakanda Forever. And then they had announced that she was getting a Disney Plus TV show, and then they kept delaying it. I don't know what the status of that show is at the time of this recording, but I'm assuming maybe things have been greenlit because now we're getting an Ironheart miniseries out of nowhere. Ironheart Bad Chemistry is written by John Jennings, who did the Silver Surfer Ghostlight book. And I really enjoyed that book. He's also like the, curator, founder of the Megascope line over at Abrams Comic Arts. And those are all like black speculative fiction, some horror, some like historical fiction type stuff. All really, really good. And so John Jennings is like 5 for 5 with me. Anytime I've read something with his name on it, I've really enjoyed it. Not to mention, he does the curation of the Bitter Truths series or section at the end of each issue of Bitter Root, which did have a series premiere last week. So all in all, John Jennings is having a great run, and this is great momentum going into this Riri Williams Ironheart Bad Chemistry series. Issue 1 is out this week with a cover price of $4.99. And that's it. Those are the books at the top of the pile, the books I am most excited for. As you can probably tell, it's a little bit of a lighter week when it comes to ongoing series, which is why there are number ones that made it to the top of the pile. But all that is because there are so many new number ones this week. And that brings me to a segment I like to call On the Radar. These are new series debuts or new story arc entry points for new readers of a given series. And hey, maybe you'll find something, maybe it's your next favorite you find in the On the Radar segment, which is powered by globalcomix. Now, first up on the radar is Pastime, issue number 1 from Mad Cave Studios, I believe. But Pastime is a book basically about a baseball player who cannot be out in the daytime. Is he a vampire? Is he a shadow? I don't know. I guess shadows can be out in the daytime. You can only see shadows in the Anyway, the point is this dude can't be out in the daytime, and that adds a layer of intrigue. If I'm honest with you, I literally picked this because the cover looked cool. So Pastime number 1 from Mad Cave out this week. Cover price is $4.99. Next up, a whole lot of Marvel on the radar. Marvel is like just, you know what, we're going to start the quarter strong with a whole bunch of new number ones, starting with Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell, issue number 1. This was written by Charles Soule. So if you are reading or watching the current Daredevil Born Again series on Disney Plus, I almost said Netflix, on Disney Plus, then you'll know, or maybe you won't know, that a lot of what you're seeing there, including like the villain Muse and Wilson Fisk being the mayor, a lot of that has its origins in Charles Soule's run of Daredevil. And so you might have a new interest in Daredevil because of that. And now you get a Daredevil miniseries written by the man who is responsible for a lot of the cool stuff you're seeing on screen. So Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell, issue number 1 is a 3-issue miniseries. Each issue is 40 pages long with a cover price of $6.99 for issue 1. And that's out this week. Next up, Marvel Rivals, issue number 1. Marvel Rivals, the game that is taking over the world. And if you happen to be someone like me, who for whatever reason still doesn't own a video game console and can't join the fun, maybe this is a fun way to like at least kind of get a little bit of a sense of what Marvel Rivals is all about while enjoying a fun comic book story. The last time I saw a comic book based on a video game was the Multiverses Collision Detected. And then before that, it was that other one, the Fortnite. It was like a Fortnite crossover with Batman or something like that. Anyway, these video game books tend to have like a very specific crowd, but hey, if it's going to get a kid into the comic shop, I'm down for it. So Marvel Rivals number 1 out this week. Let the gamer in your life know. Cover price is $6.99. And this year apparently marks 10 years of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And so we are getting a Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur 10th anniversary special. Man, 10 years. So Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur 10th anniversary special. This is written by, of course, it's written by Brandon Montclair, who helped create Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. He's also writing the current run of DuckTales. Artist on this is Natasha Bustos, who I really like her art. So honestly, great creative team. I would have thought there might have been like a few like anthology stories or something in here. I don't see that being the case. Looks like it's just one creative team on it. Cover price on it is $4.99. And that's it. Those are all the books that are on the radar, new number ones, things that you could jump into with no prior reading required. Now, let's talk about the Fledgling 4. The Fledgling 4 is my section for books that I've still buying, but I may have fallen behind on for one reason or another. And quite honestly, it feels like it's the same books every 4 weeks, and I still haven't had the heart to cut them from the pull list at all. So first up in the Fledgling 4 is Ultimate X-Men, issue number 14. It's written by Peach Momoko, or Momoko. I've heard it both ways, so I said it both ways. But Ultimate X-Men, I have been slowly getting caught back up with all of my comics since I kind of fell off a cliff in December. And The Ultimate Universe I've been slowly catching up on. So I got caught up on Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm caught up on Ultimate Black Panther. I'm like one issue behind on Ultimate Wolverine. And Ultimate Wolverine ultimately is why I'm excited about Ultimate X-Men. We're having like mutant activity in Russia and mutant activity in Japan. And I'm just very curious to see how those two things are going to kind of converge. And so that makes me want to keep reading Peach Momoko's series, even though early on it did not feel like it was a book for me. It very much felt like horror manga inspired for like teen readers. Like, I'm probably not the target audience for this book, but the rest of the Ultimate Universe is so good that it's kind of carrying this along with it for my pull list. $4.99 the cover price on that. Next up is X-Men issue number 14. And yeah, Jed MacKay's X-Men. The biggest issue I had with Jed MacKay's X-Men early on, besides the fact that the story was just so, I don't know. I don't have a word, so I don't want to try to find a word because it's going to sound more disparaging than it needs to. The point is, it was such an abrupt shift from what had come before, and I was like kind of uneasy about this new status quo. And the thing that was most off-putting to me was some of the character designs and like just kind of the way Ryan Stegman drew characters. Specifically Cyclops bothered me. Like, he had a really low brow line. I'm like, how old is this guy supposed to be? And then like Wolverine. Anyway, the point is, early on in this run, I wasn't super feeling it. They've had so many crossovers that I've gotten way behind on this. And I don't know, I probably should drop it, but I haven't yet. So X-Men 14 is out this week. I didn't even write down the cover price. But what's got me more comfortable buying it is Ryan Stegman is not the series artist currently on it. So I like seeing people draw the X-Men. What can I say? I'm an easy mark. And then next up is Hornsby and Halo, issue number 4. Hornsby and Halo from Pete Tomasi, Pete Snyberg. Yeah, that's the team. A Ghost Machine title. This one I fell behind on, like, because I bought it, but I forgot to subscribe to it. So amid all the hustle and bustle of like moving and having a kid, I didn't even realize I didn't have the last 2 issues of this series. So I'm actually very excited about it. And I don't want to wait for a trade because Ghost Machine trades seem to come like really late compared to the original production schedule. So Hornsby and Halo is a book that I'm excited to grab. I believe the cover price on it is $3.99. And that's the fledgling 4. You might notice there were only 3 up there because I don't want to just put a book in the bottom 4 just because. So fledgling 4, I need to read those and get caught up and really decide if I'm going to keep buying them or if they're just going to keep stacking up or we're going to cut the cord. And now your segment, the final segment of the pull list is called Trade Waiting. These, of course, are new trade paperback series being collected for the first time that you may have missed out on in singles or, like me, purchased in singles, filed away in a short box without reading, and it's like, wait, I need this in a more accessible format. So we're going to start things off with Rook Exodus Volume 1 out this week from Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok, another Ghost Machine title. Remember when I said I feel like the Ghost Machine trades come like way late? Rook Exodus is being written or published in 6-issue arcs, and I believe issue 6 of this one came out like just after New York Comic Con. And here we are 4 months later. It's been 5 months since New York Comic Con. Good Lord, I live in a time warp. But here we are, and Rook Exodus is just now coming to trade, which is cool because other than this, the only way for you to read this without finding the single issues would have been on globalcomix. And this book just deserves to be seen. For me, I'm going to wait until they do that big oversized edition because this book just deserves to be seen, as I just said. But if you're curious about it, Rook is this dude. It's about this dude who like goes on this mission or like joins, let's say SpaceX decided to go and habitate another planet, right? And you sign up for the SpaceX mission and you go and whatever. And then something goes wrong. This remote planet is no longer viable for this big corporation. And so they pull out, but they don't take you with them. And so suddenly you're left behind on this planet where all you can do to fend for yourself is communicate with animals. And we'll see what kind of adventure that takes you on. I really, really love the art in this series, but the story is really inventive and good as well. So Rook Exodus. Probably shouldn't have been a space for a full series review. Cover price on this one is $14.99, and that gets you the first story arc, which is the first 6 issues. Next up from Al Ewing is Venom War, the trade paperback. Al Ewing's run on Venom is something I kind of jumped off of really early. It was Al Ewing and Round V, and they were going back and forth telling Eddie Brock stories and Dylan Brock stories, and apparently that's all come to a head in the Venom War. Only one person can be Venom, and is it going to be Eddie? Is it going to be Dylan? Is it going to be someone else altogether? I don't know. You got to find out by reading the trade paperback out this week with a cover price of $17.99. As we hop over to DC Comics, we got Batman Off-World. This is written by Jason Aaron, and this is a series where Batman has to go off-world to fight like cosmic level threats. And Cosmic Batman was not something I was interested in when this book was coming out, but now I'm like, I'll try it out. Cover price on that is $19.99. Next up is from the DC Vault, Batman, Death in the Family, Robin Lives, trade paperback. This is written by Rick Leonardi, if I'm not mistaken, it's written by Jim Starlin and J.M. DeMatteis, with art by Rick Leonardi. That makes sense. Colors by Rico Renzi. I think this also is going to include the original Death in the Family. Yes. So Death in the Family, Robin Lives. DC's done a terrible job like explaining what this is or marketing this ahead of time. I thought this was a one-shot, just giving you that alternate ending that they always print whenever they reprint the Death in the Family. Like, oh, what if you called the number and pressed the other button for Jason Todd to live? And so this is basically what if Jason Todd had lived, but it's not just the original Death in the Family issue. It's like a whole miniseries based on the idea that Jason Todd lived. So this is going to collect that, but it also collects Batman 426, 427, 428, and 429. So the entire original Death in the Family saga. All of that for $24.99 actually kind of feels like a steal. I'm just in it for the Rico Renzi colors. But next up is Conan, Battle of the Black Stone, trade paperback from Titan Comics. Jim Zub is still writing Conan, and everybody still loves it. This is the latest event. I don't cover Conan on the channel really because it's not always safe for work or kids, but everybody who I know that loves Conan is really, really loving this book. So check that out if you're interested. $17.99 is the cover price on that. And the last book in the trade waiting pile. A lot of trades out this week. This is the Animal Pound hardcover from Tom King and Peter Gross. I believe this is published by Boom Studios. Animal Pound, basically, if you've read the George Orwell book, Animal Farm, I believe George Orwell wrote that. He also wrote 1984. It was a book, kind of like a cautionary tale with a bunch of animals about the rise of communism and what that would be like played out. This is kind of like a Animal Farm inspired book called Animal Pound, where instead of dealing with the ills of communism, we're dealing with like the potential perils of the two-party democracy system, which is interesting. And I don't know, I guess it's hard talking about anything political in the year of our Lord 2025. Maybe this being animals will make me want to read it. I remember buying the original, the first couple of issues because my daughter was reading Animal Farm at the time, and I thought it'd be a cool thing for us to compare notes. And then I never held up my end of the bargain by reading the book. So trade paperback or cover, the hardcover is out this week with a cover price of $29.99. And I'm a sucker, so I'm probably going to buy it anyway. And that's it. Those are all of the books that are on the trade waiting list for me. Not all the books that are coming out this week. It's a stacked week in a different kind of way. Are you still recovering from last week? Are you excited about any of the books I mentioned today? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in another video soon. Until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.